Welcome to the landing gear and brakes lesson in the PMDG 737 Next Generation Groundwork from Angle of Attack. This lesson will cover the following topics: landing gear system overview, landing gear extension and retraction, landing gear manual extension, nose wheel steering on ground, wheel braking system, auto brake system, anti-skid protection, and parking brakes. The landing gear system on the 737 NGX is made up of two main landing gear in the center fuselage and one nose landing gear in the forward fuselage. Each landing gear has a set of two wheels, and all landing gear are retractable into the aircraft's fuselage. The landing gear is designed to sustain the weight of the aircraft when it is on ground, as well as absorb the load forces when the aircraft touches down during landing. Each landing gear has a series of shock absorbers that compress when there is weight over them. If landing gear shock absorbers were rigid, they would immediately break when the aircraft touched down. They have to be able to compress sufficiently without damaging themselves or any other components around them. The 737-800's maximum landing weight is over 65 tons. All that weight must be absorbed by these shock absorbers. The landing gear is extended and retracted with the landing gear lever located in the center forward panel. The lever has three positions: up, landing gear is fully retracted and secured; off, landing gear system is free from hydraulic pressure; and down, landing gear is commanded to extend. A lever lock prevents the landing gear lever from accidentally moving to the up position on ground. Extension. When the landing gear are in the up position, they are held in place by up locks. In order to extend the landing gear, normally the pilot not flying pulls the landing gear lever and brings it to the down position. First, the landing gear doors open to allow the mechanism to come out of the fuselage. During this process, three red lights, one for each gear, located above the landing gear lever, illuminate to indicate either that the related landing gear is neither down nor locked, or that the related landing gear disagrees with the selected position in the lever. Then, hydraulic pressure from System A is used to extend the landing gear. Aerodynamic loads and gravity also reduce the demand for hydraulic pressure by aiding the extension process. Once the gear are in their down position, mechanical and hydraulic linkages hold it in a locked position in order to prevent them from collapsing upward upon touchdown. The landing gear locks must also protect the landing gear from collapsing when the aircraft lands sideways, such as during a crosswind landing. The maximum allowable demonstrated crosswind component for landing is partly a function of how much side load the landing gear can absorb during a crosswind touchdown. When the gear has come down and is fully locked in position, the red landing gear lights extinguish and three green lights illuminate. These green lights are immediately below the red gear lights and indicate that the related gear is down and locked. With this, the landing gear warning horn is also deactivated. This warning is discussed in the Caution and Warning Systems lesson. Additionally, for added redundancy, there's also an independent extra series of green lights in the aft overhead panel that provide a gear down and locked indication. This is a quick place to look just in case one of the gear lights is out. This will cross-verify the gear is in fact down. Just because a light is out doesn't mean the gear isn't down. Although these lights could be checked with the enunciates and light test, it's much easier for the flight crew to simply look up on that panel during that critical phase of flight and know if they need to discontinue the approach or if they can continue. Retraction. When the landing gear is down and locked, and the landing gear lever is moved to the up position, the landing gear begins to retract upwards. After liftoff, as soon as the pilot not flying notices a positive rate of climb and change in altitude, he informs the pilot flying by saying, "positive rate," who then commands the pilot not flying to raise the gear by saying, "gear up." At this point, when the landing gear lever is selected up, the wheels may still be rotating after being in contact with the runway. If rotating wheels were retracted into the landing gear wheel well, they may cause damage to components. For this reason, when the landing gear lever is selected up, the wheel brakes automatically stop rotation of the main gear wheels. The nose gear wheels are also suppressed with snubbers. If any of the 6 wheels have suffered damage during the takeoff roll, braking will be difficult. To prevent a damaged spinning tire from damaging any component in the wheel well, the gear stops retracting and free falls back to the down position. This gear can no longer be retracted during that flight. This is a protection in place for the critical systems that are largely housed in the gear wheel wells, like what you've seen in the hydraulics section. Now, once the landing gear have been retracted, they're held in place with uplocks, doors, and seals. That completes the retract cycle. Hydraulic pressure from System A is used to retract the main and nose landing gear. However, during retraction, the hydraulic system B may also provide pressure. A landing gear transfer valve changes the source of hydraulic pressure when the aircraft is in the air. Landing gear lever is up. One of the main landing gear is not up. Left engine high pressure compressor, N2, is less than 50%. Hydraulic system B pressure is available. Obviously, this condition is rare and would be accompanied by other warnings. But it does ensure that in the chaos of a speedily evolving takeoff sequence, that the gear will come up unless there are other limiting factors. Finally, as one last step after takeoff checklist is run, the landing gear lever is placed in the off position. This isolates all hydraulic power from the landing gear system. Landing gear manual extension. In order to provide a safe backup for hydraulic system A power loss or system failure, the landing gear system can also be extended manually. There are manual gear release handles guarded by an access door in the flight deck floor that allow for manual gear extension with the landing gear lever in any position. There are 3 manual gear extension handles, one for each landing gear. To actuate the system, the manual gear handles must be pulled aft. When this occurs, the related landing gear uplock is released, and the gear free falls to a down and locked position. Once again, the gear weight, gravity, and aerodynamic forces also aid this extension process. Manual extension of the nose and main landing gear are completely independent from the normal extension system. In case the normal extension system is jammed or inoperative, manual extension may be used. After the landing gear has been extended manually, it cannot be retracted with this same mechanism. The only way to retract it is if hydraulic system A pressure is available and the manual extension access door is closed. Landing gear lever is moved to its down position. Landing gear is then moved to its up retracted position. Nose wheel steering. The nose landing gear wheels may be used to steer the aircraft when it is on ground during taxi, takeoff, and landing, and the landing gear lever is in the down position. There are 2 ways to steer the nose wheels: with the rudder pedals or with the nose wheel steering wheel or tiller bar. The rudder pedals allow for a maximum nose wheel deflection of 7 degrees left or right. The nose wheel steering wheel allows for a maximum nose wheel deflection of 78 degrees, which is a huge difference. During taxi, the nose wheel steering wheel is used. However, during takeoff, the rudder pedals are used so that nose wheel direction is lesser and therefore the loads imposed over the nose gear during takeoff are minimized. Keep in mind that the tiller bar for the nose steering is not available in Flight Simulator and is rather connected as a function with the rudder. Therefore, tight turns available in the real aircraft will not be available in the simulator version. Nose wheel steering is normally powered by hydraulic system A. Alternate nose wheel steering is available through the hydraulic system B when the aircraft is on ground. There is a normal hydraulic fluid quantity in the B system reservoir, and the nose wheel steering switch is placed to the Alt position. The nose wheel steering switch is a two-position switch located in the left forward panel. It can be selected either normal position, where hydraulic system A powers the steering system. This position is guarded.